There's so much advice out there on anxiety that's just not very helpful, unfortunately. And over the last 20 years, I've kind of dealt with this anxiety thing. I don't know if I could say that I've totally overcome it, but I've made some pretty good strides on just being myself, even when I'm anxious. And a lot of those things that helped aren't the typical things that everybody thinks, like, well, maybe just don't be anxious. That's probably the worst advice and the most demotivating advice that you can get. And I feel like I hear that a lot. That's not enough. You need something more than that. So over the next couple videos, I'm going to talk a little bit about how I faced my anxiety and the couple things that I learned that actually work really, really well and that can take a big chunk out of it for you. So these things probably won't cure your anxiety, but the idea is that when you're going to a job interview, that you can actually be yourself in the interview. That's the goal. And if you're somebody who's struggled with anxiety for a while, that may sound almost like an impossible thing. And of course, this kind of extends outside of like just job interviews. This does extend way beyond that. It extends to being on the job and even off the job. So this is kind of important stuff. If you're an anxious person, I have a whole bunch of unique things that you can do, a whole bunch of unexpected little fixes that you may be surprised to hear about. So in this video, I want to start with something that's really, really simple and insidious. You probably haven't considered this. You probably haven't thought too much about how this particular thing is impacting you. And the worst part about it is right before your interview or whatever else you're doing that may be high stress and you want to be relaxed and yourself for it, you're probably increasing your intake of the substance that actually has a really, really negative effect on it. So I'm going to tell you what that is, but I want you to know that once I tell you what it is, I do have a solution that's not just stop doing this thing. Because the other thing that I've noticed with solutions to these kinds of issues is oftentimes the solution is like asking you to do some ridiculous thing, like quit something that's really fundamental to how you operate, like stop eating bread or something like that. That may be an unreasonable expectation. So these are simple solutions to your problems rather than potentially highly complex ones that are difficult to implement. So, all right, back to this thing. One of the big problems with anxiety is caffeine, and caffeine is in so much. It's in coffee, it's in tea, it's in pop, it's even in a bunch of foods if you start looking really closely. And again, I'm not going to ask you to stop drinking coffee. I know that's a big ask. There is a solution to this without stopping, but I want you to be aware that the more coffee or caffeine intake you have, the more you spike adrenaline and cortisol. These are probably like the worst two things to have spike right before you're doing something nerve-wracking, because they literally put you into like a fight or flight state, which is not what you want right before you go into an interview. Okay, so what do you do about this problem? I'm sure you're not willing to stop drinking coffee. You probably think that it's actually helping you in the interview setting. And I'm here to tell you that if you're an anxious person, it's probably not. I'm going to give you a way to continue drinking your coffee, but remove some of those negative effects. So the solution is something called L-theanine. Now, it can't just be any L-theanine. You need to use something called suntheanine. Suntheanine is a really high quality version of L-theanine. L-theanine is a green tea extract. It has this ability to like counter the effects of caffeine. So if you want to try this, go to Amazon. I'm not going to recommend a brand or anything like that, but go to Amazon, search for suntheanine. It's one word. See what you find. Same thing you always do when you shop on Amazon. Look for reviews, find something that everyone is saying is good quality, buy it. When you get it, don't take it for the first time right before your interview. Run a trial the day before, the week before, whatever you're comfortable with. Take about 400 milligrams 2 hours before you actually go to the interview or do the interview online, and you can continue having your coffee. So there's my first big tip. This may seem like a really basic thing. It may seem like, oh, geez, coffee's really not affecting me in this way. I can almost guarantee you that it's impacting your anxiety in some way or another. And it's just one of those insidious products. Like, I don't drink it at all anymore, and it's helped me immeasurably. But if you take high quality L-theanine, it does have the ability to counteract the effects of caffeine. So with these solutions, you need to experiment. And I'm going to give you, between 5 and 10 solutions. And these aren't just don't feel anxious or don't be anxious. These are real solutions that have worked for me and that have some science behind them. I'll give you 5 or 10 over the next month or so. And what I want you to do is try them and see if they work for you. With these kinds of things, all our body chemistries aren't all the same. You need to try several, but I can tell you that there's many solutions, from basic stuff like L-theanine to nuclear grade pharmaceuticals, that you don't have to take on an ongoing basis, but may get you through really anxious moments. And I want you to know that there's a way out of it. And the work context is a great place to explore these solutions, because you're getting interviewed by people who have no idea who you are, and you need to perform. And I'm going to try and give you a way to do that. I hope this was helpful. Let me know how it goes, and I'll be back in a week or two with another suggestion.